Hey everybody, you may be wondering why I am standing on top of my base right now, and that's because I'm recording this Friday morning actually, and I went ahead and destroyed everything. Everything is gone. Everything has been destroyed. I didn't like it. I thought it looked horrible. Didn't make any sense. Style that I was doing, and way too much diorite, and I was not proud of it. So I went ahead, I did a couple things, went to the nether, went ahead, built a couple highways in there, and then I also grabbed me some new resources, and we're gonna start again. Third time's the charm today. Hopefully, I stick to it this time. Alrighty, I've done a bunch of off-camera stuff, mostly because all very boring. There's a lot of stuff like, finding spots where I can get certain materials like, coral and more calcite and a reason to live and, a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper. So, now that I've done that, now we get to plan it out. Hooray, planning! I love planning. It means look at all this crap I have. I have a bunch of crap. I have crap that I probably won't even use. And I probably will still run out of crap. But I have me an actual image for a layout this time, so I don't make the same mistakes that I did initially. Why, you may ask? Because very important that I do not mess up on this again, because I am getting tired of not being happy with this and then having to start over again and again and again. So I went in a creative world, create a copy, and I went ahead and kind of planned everything out that I want to build or what I want to do over here. What would be like the main reasoning why I'm changing this, and it's because I can. You may also ask, why do you torment yourself like this? Answer to that too is also because I can. You may also ask, what is the meaning of life? And to that I say, because I can. And you may also ask if I can count. Answer to that question is no. I am illiterate. For wondering what I'm doing right now, I am laying it out in concrete powder. Just because I have a lot of gravel and a lot of sand. I'm gonna be doing a netherite too. I probably do half of it netherite because I just have the right nether rack. Just because I want different colors in here so I know what I'm looking at. Which this is gonna be right here is the secondary gatehouse. There's gonna be the main gatehouse over there. You know what? How about we'll just cut to that where I have all of this done. And then I'll talk about the thought process behind all this crap, okay? Capiche? Caboose. So now I gotta get it all laid out. First thing you're gonna walk into is the first gatehouse. Right here. On the little bit smaller side. Actually, I think it's a little bit too small. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Good thing is, like, since I'm planning it out, I can be like, I don't like the shape of this. Then you gotta come in here. This is here to be the outer bailey. Baileys are basically, defensive points that are, So you have to come up this hill. You got tower right there, tower right here. To come up the hill to the second gatehouse right here. And then you're finally in the inner courtyard. Got some buildings right here. Another tower. Some more right here. and then the actual keep right here. This keep, oh, this is gonna be the tallest one. Obviously, there's also like different kinds of buildings you'd see in a castle, like a great hall and a kitchen and stuff like that, which obviously, I guess I can kind of implement as well. Thinking maybe if I do a great hall, maybe this or like this building might be better, or not even better because it's actually kind of segmented. So it probably would be this one right here, because this one I can make into one building. Had this be kind of an L-shaped kind of entrance right here. You come in, all right here kind of thing. So maybe we'll see. Think about the interior is a little too far ahead. I'll go ahead and give you a little aerial shot of it using the power of scaffolding. I'm definitely a lot more happy with the shape and how it feels. It was a lot more realistic and better feeling. I ain't certain about that right here. This right here, I'm not 100% on. I need to look at that and figure that out a little bit more, because that's another thing. It's like when I was building the original 2 iterations of this, I was a lot more focused on building it in not the right style, like in the architectural placement kind of way. Architecturally the same, but how it's placed, it was different. A lot of castles in Eastern Europe tend to actually have their buildings built into the walls and, you know, be able to be seen as actual buildings, while in more Western European castles, like, you know, in England or whatever, usually what happens is you have a big old wall around it and a bunch of buildings inside of that big old wall, and then the keep in the middle. But and stuff where I'm mostly looking at right now, instead of what I was looking at, which is mostly more Bohemian and more Transylvanian and some German, you know, isn't the popular German castles, like, you know, Liechtenstein and stuff like that, where usually a lot of the buildings are built into the walls and are used as defensive points at the same time as, you know, having their own purpose. You know, am I model that 100% accurate? Probably not. Alrighty, so before I started building, I went ahead and did actually make some changes to the layout. Up here, I didn't really change that much, but down here I sure did. This kind of looks kind of confusing right now, but I feel like after I have it built, it should make sense, because this is supposed to be more of an actual gatehouse rather than a hole in a wall to enter. This right here, I've made it like this instead of all willy-nilly kind of spriggly. Tower right here, obviously. Make sure, yeah. And then this goes up. Every tower right here, kind of bigger. As you coming towards the actual main castle, like the main part of the castle. It's a bigger tower. Another gatehouse, probably in the same style as that one. It's just I have it marked out a little differently. Anyway, this building, this tower, and then back in here. It's probably not going to be exactly what's going to happen right here next to the keep. I'll probably have this extend out a little bit so you can get a better vantage point on this ridge line and this right here. But I gotta grab a couple more resources, and then, which you probably won't see at all. I might record some of it, you know, put it in flashback or whatever, and then we'll start building. Hey everybody, I know today's episode is a little late. It's supposed to come out like 3 weeks ago, but I had a lot of stuff I had to do, so a lot of this episode's also in time lapses, because it's pretty easy for me to, you know, open it up in a time lapse and do it that way. I don't know if I want to keep on doing my stuff like this. If anything, I don't know how to make this enjoyable for most people. I think, you know, it's a very trial and error process, which I'll definitely figure out. But in that downtime, I've been watching a decent amount of stuff. Well, not decent amount of stuff. I've watched 2 shows. Because it's Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, this is gonna come out and stuff like that. It was not intentional, I forgot. It was Memorial Day was coming up, but I watched Band of Brothers in the Pacific, and Band of Brothers is such a really, really, really good show. Even if you don't like World War II, it is a very, very good show. And Pacific, not so much. You know, it's definitely I'd have to go into spoiler territory, and I kind of want you guys to watch it because it's that good. So I'm not gonna say anything else other than please go watch it. They are both very good. One's way better than the other, but the Pacific is still pretty good. You know, and it's definitely given me some ideas in my own world. You know, here, where even though I'm building this bohemian castle right now, it's not really bohemian. It's like it's bohemian inspired in big old quotation marks. You know, I feel like building a little French village with some World War II stuff. I feel like, you know, like 101st Airborne or something dropping in. It doesn't even have to be 101st. It could be a completely fictional thing too. It doesn't even have to be a real town. Like building a real town in Minecraft, you know, 1-to-1 is gonna suck, especially if I have to look at maps. But it'd be heavily inspired, and I feel like that might be a fun area to build. But yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're texturing the walls, getting the towers all the way up to the height that I want them to be. But yeah, please, like, if you learn anything from this episode, because you aren't gonna learn anything else, please go watch Band of Brothers, or Band of Brothers in the Pacific. You start off with a good one, or you know, or how you like it. You know, start off the bad one, start off with a good one. The Pacific isn't bad. I just don't like the writing of it, which I feel like you would evidently figure out about 3 episodes in. Is that the writing is kind of shoddy, which is kind of a shame because I'm not a big World War II history buff. I kind of find Vietnam and Korea, at least when it comes to American politics, more interesting. But if I had to pick a front for World War II that was like my favorite, it would definitely be the Pacific. So it's kind of a shame to see it, you know, one of the only big film/TV shows. It's, you know, kind of doing it a disservice in my opinion because of how it's written. You know, the battles and stuff like that, you know, show the brutality of the Pacific Theater, but the writing itself is kind of shoddy. But you know, probably shouldn't trust my opinion. I'm a fucking YouTuber who talks about shit over Minecraft. He's building his little castle that's not even historically accurate. I mean, it's kind of historically accurate. It's you know, that's never the plan though for that kind of stuff. But this is me go ahead and adding the timbering framing to the roofs and stuff like that. And gonna start getting the towers up on height and get the roofs on them here in a second. But that's all that's been going on this week. And what else did I do? Well, I had to help move. I had to switch internet. I had to clean a lot. I had to do a couple other things. And just, you know, suffering for work in the process, which is, you know, it's normal. And you know, I'd come home, I'd be tired, you know, getting yelled at work or being stressed out because of work, which is always fun. Trust me, I don't know what my age demographic for my YouTube channel is yet, because nobody watches it. Wink wink, nudge nudge, high five, thank you for watching. But I don't know how bad food service is, but retail is horrible. It's painful. At least for me and my personality and how and who and what I am, it is just suffering, like internally, and it's horrible. And you know, it's bad. But we're adding the timbering to the roofs right now as well. And yeah, you know, I got in trouble. I think it was about around the time I probably recorded this, because I accidentally got angry at somebody because she walked in our back room and demanded where the strawberries were because they weren't out on the floor, and I just didn't feel like dealing with her, so I just said, you know, go away, you're in an employee only area. Basically that, you know, I said it way nicer than that. Got in trouble for that, and that was fun. And then immediately, everybody, my bosses and stuff, 180'd me and like, hey, you know, can you go do all this other shit while we punish you for getting angry at somebody for being an idiot? Which that's just how retail is, I do suppose. It's fun. But this whole time I haven't even talked to I said it jokingly while I was doing the little bit of live recording that I did for this episode about why I'm changing this up. And then, because I don't like it, Herder, like, no shit. Of course I don't like it. So the big problem with it, in my opinion, is that I don't care. I didn't like it. It's it's really that simple. I felt like it was way too much diorite. I feel like I could have done better. And I do like how this looks, even now. After working on it and having some doubts about it, but definitely not as much as the initial two designs. And I feel like that's just because it's not 100% historically accurate. Never said it will be. It's hard to convert that into Minecraft in that 1x1, 1 meter by 1 meter kind of idea. Unless I was using Conquest Reforged and fucking spending hours of just micro detailing one tower or something like that, which some people do, and I like those builds. They look cool, but that's not been my intention for this. I just wanted to build something that I would like, and something that I would enjoy in my world, which is kind of the big premise of it, I'd hope. So I ended up switching it up for a gradient, adding in some more depth, some more color to it, and adding some side buildings to it, which you'll see here in a little bit, and the interiors and stuff like that, which I kind of have an idea of. That probably I gotta do the interior for this. It's gonna suck, but I'll figure it out. I will figure that out. But yeah, that's basically all that's been going on, really. I mean, I've been helping defend Super Earth, and Helldivers. That's the only other thing that's been going on. Yeah. Which, I like Helldivers. Helldivers is a really good game, too. It's definitely very buggy. It's got some flaws. I have some clips of it. Not enough to make a clip dump yet. But it's a very, very fun game. But here we go. This is me working on the keep. Keep getting the framing for that. And here in a second, you'll see me plunge to my depth and die because I fuck up. Which is also the same reason why I don't have this world in hardcore. I think I've talked about that before, where I just die in the most stupid ways imaginable. So that's why I never play on hardcore. I do play on hard though. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter, probably, because, you die, you come back, stuff like that. And if anything, I just eat more food and everything. I need to build a farm because I ran out of food again in this episode, and I was just barely striving by because I had a bunch of bone meal, which I used all of to bone meal a bunch of potatoes and cook those. But this is the keeps interior, and then here's me actually placing it down the blocks in a time lapse because I felt like to break it up a little bit. It's all been flashback this entire time, God bless it, but I was definitely using it as a crutch to this episode because I was recording it so scatteredly. I would record maybe like 2 hours worth of stuff, or maybe 30 minutes. And then I'd get bored, or I'd have to go exercise, or I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go watch me my episode of Band of Brothers for today because I want to watch it. Shit. That's the fact that I'm bringing it up now, and I am like humming the song at work, like the main intro at work, which is something I never do unless the series is really, really good. Probably it should tell you something. When I speak the praise of a series or a TV show or a game or something like that, I really mean it. I don't say, oh yeah, I like this, and then change my mind immediately afterward. Like, Band of Brothers is really like that good. But yep, it's just me putting the roof on this thing. I decided to stick with the same roof style as the original 2 iterations because That was the only thing I was kind of happy about, was kind of 2 blocks of stairs, or, 2 sets of stairs, and then block up stair, block up stair, block up stair until you get to the end, or to get to the top. And luckily this time I made everything even except for one building. One building is odd. Oh, wait, right. One building is even, which is this one right here. That one's even. Every other building in this entire castle is odd. So, yeah. This is the secondary building. This was more like a secondary keep. I was thinking, it was definitely not the premise of it initially, but I ended up building it like that. And you still needed to figure out how I want to do the interior for these secondary buildings and stuff like that. Should I put redstone contraptions in there? Should I put, interiors in there? Should I make some pseudo insane anarcho religion about worshipping fucking, I don't know, insert random image of something here, me, in approximately 10 minutes after I eat dinner, which I'll find funnier at some point, probably. But, that's kind of the options for that. It's a very big build. Definitely not no Hermitcraft. I built this entire fucking giant ass thing, and that's the only thing we did in the past, this whole series, and that was it. Definitely don't like building stuff like that where it's this big project that's been going on continuously for multiple episodes. If you're seeing what I'm saying right now, is that I don't like how long it's taking me to build this castle, if you can't tell. And it's gonna take even longer, and I know it's going to. Not because me playing the game, playing Minecraft, and it's not like I'm against it while I'm playing the game. It's just that I feel like when I'm watching YouTube in this context, I don't like it because it's boring. It's the same fucking thing over and over again. It's me just doing this. Oh, let's change this. Let's change that. I don't like this. Change this. Does that mean I'm a hypocrite? Yes. But I was also, during this stuff, I was usually watching a lot of like ghost story stuff, or like, cryptid stuff, which it kind of helped me remind myself of the weird experiences that I've had personally, which I'm going to tell you about right now. Hooray. When I was a kid, I used to live in a trailer. Fucking dingiest thing known to man. It's dingy. And there was something that lived in there. And the thing is like, that place has been demolished. It's been demolished for like 5 years at this point. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, to go back in there and be like, did that actually happen or not? Because what would happen is, when I was a kid, is I would see this big black mess. And like, okay, so how this trailer is set up is like, it's a big hallway, basically. There's 2 big hallways. There's the kitchen in the middle, big hallway number 1, big hallway number 2. And I had to tear down the original roof. I didn't like it. The big hallway, the first big hallway, which led to me and my sister's room in the bathroom, there would always be this big black mass that starts showing up around when the sun would go down. Sometimes it'd wait a little bit. It wouldn't be until like maybe 10 or 11, at the latest, where it looked like a human, 7 foot tall, 8 foot tall, almost hits the roof kind of thing. And it would slowly get closer to you. Like, you turn your head, you get closer to you. Turn your head, you get closer to you. And it was also in our closet at the same time too. This is me doing the little exterior thingamajiggy to the gatehouse right now. Anyways, it was also in the closet. So for the longest time, I had to sleep with a nightlight on because I had horrible insomnia as well, which is probably the reason why I can't sleep for shit still till this day. Even if I get 8 hours of sleep, which is something I try to get myself to do, I still wake up tired. It's probably because of that. But, imagine being a kid, and your nightlight goes out, and you're basically playing the proto equivalent to like Five Nights at Freddy's with this fucking shadow thing that keeps on showing up, trying to scare the shit out of you. I mean, I used to wake up, just where I would wake up, it would be standing over me, kind of thing, or it would be right next to me, or I could, almost sleep paralysis, which is, I can't say it was sleep paralysis because I haven't had it ever since. Ever since I moved out of that trailer when I was 8. I have never had any experiences like that. I've had, weird cryptid thingamajiggies run around, which could have been a wolf of mange. If that's the other story, where when I was living in my, not the next house, but the house after that, there was like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm like 15 or 16, I think, and I see out in the window, because we lived like at a T-cross intersection, this 7 or 8 foot thing, pale. I'd have to say if it looked like anything, it kind of looked like the rake, like how people imagine the rake to look like. And it just went zooming. I mean, I'm talking like 10, 15 miles an hour, flying across. And say that I panicked and I woke everybody up, because that was actually kind of scary. And I grabbed my knife and started freaking out for a little bit. Would be an understatement. I still don't know what that was. From what I know of, there's no weird rake-like creatures that are in like Florida folklore, or anything like that. And I'm pretty certain, unless it was a giant fucking wolf that had mange, I don't think that was what it was. I think that was, unless it was like a 7 foot tall crackhead. Okay. So I'll go ahead and show you guys around the place. Obviously, not exactly everything's. This is basically the rough shell of it all. I still need to add decorations to most of the main stuff, most of the buildings and stuff like that. But this is the layout. Oh yeah, for example, for like, I want to put windows up here. Might even have a little extension off the main keep right here. But this is the main, these are the main shells of all the buildings. Towers and walls. The walls are done basically. Towers, I need to add arrow slits to, and like I said, the interior in here. This upper part, and also the flooring for this part as well, because I don't want it to be all just grass and pots like this. But I think this looks really cool, like this kind of alleyway kind of thing that kind of formed. Thinking about maybe having like a big old statue or something right here, a little fountain or something like that. And then we have this up here. This is gonna be the entrance in. I don't know about having a mud block right here. Got some murder holes up here, because they would have those in the situation, and then this would be the keep on up in here. But as you can probably tell from how long it took for this episode to come out, I've been working on this a lot longer than everything else, and I really like how this looks. I'll probably tweak it. I'll probably work on some stuff that's kind of hard to record, which is like the detailing and stuff like that, probably between episodes. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna keep on working this next episode or not. Wait, I haven't decided yet. I've not decided yet. Probably should, because I need to get my chest monster out of here. Probably figure out a good place to put my storage at the very least, so I can do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you guys next time.